Oh, long time no see. Man, it has been a while since I had last did a stream. Man, I have to kind of went through my settings, make sure everything is set up correctly before I went live. But good to be back. Good to be back. I already saw a few faces in the chat earlier. Sinku Ishigashi. Oh, yes, long time no see. Yeah, there's I've definitely heard a lot through the YouTube streets, so we'll be getting into that in a bit. SKC, I know you're still doing the stream and everything and whatnot, but I know you're gonna be coming over in about a bit. So in fact, let me tell everybody right now, blame SKC for the stream. So the things I'm going to be talking about tonight, you can all trace it back to SKC. So there you go. And my main dude, Aizen Sama. Hey, man, like I said, I got off work early, so I figured I'd start early and everything. But man, good to hear from you. Good to see you as well. Man, just great to be back. Great to be back. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. Before I get started and everything, I do owe everybody an apology. All of my subscribers and all, yours truly owe you an apology. And I apologize for the fact that I haven't streamed in over 2 months. I know it's very unusual, but it's the truth. And the reason being is as follows. Right around, probably want to say late April, early May, um, my team has been hit with a huge project. Anybody knows the type of work that I do. I work with artificial intelligence, so I do a lot of bot creations for a university and whatnot. You know, when people chat in, people call in and whatnot, we do an automation system where I pretty much control all of it. And so, right around early May, we got hit with a fairly big project, and this project is still ongoing. It's not even done. It's still ongoing, but it took up a lot of my time. And so because of that, I had to take a step back from streaming and everything to kind of focus on this project. And actually it's a group of multiple projects, so not just one, but there was one big project in particular that took up a lot of my time. We had to spend the month of May, month of June, pre-planning, testing, research and developments and stuff. And it took a lot. It took a lot. And because of it, I wasn't able to really come through and stream. And I know some of y'all were messaging the channel like, hey, hope you guys are doing all right. And, miss you guys and everything. Believe me, we miss you too. We miss you too. It's it was stuff that was going on at work and everything that I really had to shift focus and shift gears. And that's only one part. The next part is I'm getting back into school, but I'm going into grad school. And right now my department is pretty much sponsoring me to go back to school and be getting my master's of science degree in information system technology. And so kind of been prepping for that, going to these orientations, going to meet and greet sessions with cohorts that I'm going to be working with for the next you know, 9 to 12 months or so. And even that's taken up a lot of time. So things going on with the job, then got stuff going on with grad school. And then on top of all of that, I'm also doing a side business that has to do a little bit with crypto. Now it's not in completion yet, but in soon in the future, I'm going to be doing a stream talking about the side business and what's that's going to affect not only this channel, but any other ventures we're going to be having going forward. So, with all of that, I just slacked off the past 2 months and wasn't able to stream. But I'm now back. I'm not fully back. I still, got things I got to take care of and everything. But am planning at least twice a month, with the Black Ronins podcast and the State of Melt Entertainment. Try to do those streams each month going forward, so that way you guys still have content and still have things that you can bring here and discuss about. And so that's the goal going forward. And I figured I kick off this stream by just apologizing. Sorry for having been talking with you guys for a long time. It was not on purpose and everything. Just busy with work, busy with schooling, busy with business handling off to the side and everything. But haven't forgot about you all. You all mean a lot to me and to this channel. So definitely appreciate you all being patient, and I'm hoping to return the favor for you all. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. So being that I got a few of my buddies here and everything. So in fact, let me start off with my boy Eisen Sama. Let's do some introductions here, the intro, because it's been a while since we've done these individual intros.
All creatures need to obey. No one can survive without trusting someone they feel is better, more worthy than themselves. To avoid that responsibility, those who are worthy look even higher, searching for more superior beings. And those superiors do the same, looking for even stronger individuals they can believe in. That is how all kings are created. It is also how gods are born.
There you go. I gotta do my boys right. So Isasama, you the first one. I gotta do that too. And then I know I saw SKC, so I definitely gotta do SKC's intro. All right, there you have it for SKC. Let's see who else we got in here. Oh my goodness, man! Truism is back. Okay, y'all already know his intro, but because he's been out for a long time, I gotta play this intro for him.
What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Welcome back, Truism. Man, good to have you, good sir. And like I said earlier in the stream, you can blame SKC for the stream, and I'll get into reason why and everything. So to start off, if y'all want to hate on the Kun, here's something to get y'all going.
この皮剥がしてたぬき汁にしてあげる。
Ah, boy. Yeah. Rael, good to see you, good sir. Good to see you. Okay, so let's get right into it because this is mainly just a stream to talk about some observations that I made or that I've seen while I was busy, with work and schooling and whatnot. Even though I couldn't stream myself, doesn't mean that I wasn't able to follow other people's streams and see what's going on. So let's start off with SKC first. So I want to say 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, probably about a week. So I'll probably say a week or 2 weeks ago. Anywho, SKC did a stream, and he did a stream titled "V is for Victory," and I want to say that stream is still on his channel. So right after this stream, if you want to go see what I'm talking about, definitely go to his page. You'll see it there. But he did he did a stream called V for Victory. And the first thing you see is the thumbnail. Now, I kid you not, I was at work when SKC was streaming. And the first thing that caught my eye was the thumbnail. I'm not going to say what's on the thumbnail because I'm about to show you it myself. But when I saw the thumbnail, I was like, what in the hell did this coon get a hold of? At first, I thought it was maybe something that he just created or memed and everything. But when he showed the actual clip of the thumbnail, a part of me wasn't surprised by the community and the antics that the community does. But at the same time, another part of me was like, how low can you really go? Really, how low can you really go? And so you probably ask yourself, okay, well, what is this that what is this that SKC showed on his stream? D is for Victory. Well, let me show you. Let me get my screen ready. Make sure all this is in. All right, here we go. Little drum roll, please. Okay, well, I'm gonna play this without using the music, but so you see what I'm playing. You see what I'm playing, and literally, I was like, "SKC, are you for real? Is this really happening as you showed it?" And yes, indeed. Also, too, got to give a shout out to A Truism because he gave me this clip as it showed. No, Eisen, no, Eisen, I am not joking. What you see here is really going on. This really happened. so, so again, shout out to A Truism for sending me this clip. I said, as soon as I get a chance, this is going to be the first thing I talk about when I get back. And yes, for those who haven't caught on, what you are seeing on your screen. And in fact, let me do this because some people would like to, get upset when you're playing these materials and everything. So let me just put the fair use side so that way, you know, you two don't get too crazy. But anywho, what you are seeing, what you're actually seeing is a monkey surrounded by colored women twerking in a club. Like H. Williams said, the man was fighting for his life. The man. Okay, let me give y'all a little side story. So again, SKC was streaming this while I was at work, and so I'm at work. This is like doing one of my breaks and everything, and I have a student worker who works with me on some of these projects that's going on at work. Really cool white guy, really cool young kid and everything. He's doing his thing. And he seen my face and he was like, uh, Mr. Jones, is everything all right? And I slowly look at him and in my mind, I'm thinking, should I forewarn this poor soul or should I just keep this to myself? And I was like, you know what? He's a grown man. He's 21 years old. He needs to know. So we're going to call him Tom. It's not his real name, but for the sake of this trip, we're going to call him Tom. So I looked at him and I said, Tom, whatever you do, be careful of these wild women out on the streets. And he was like, okay, Mr. Jones, what do you mean by that? And so I rewind the clip that SKC was playing, and I showed it to him. And Tom was just bewildered. He was like, Is this really happening?" It's like, "Yes, Tom. What you're seeing is this actually happened. A monkey getting grown women twerking on him." I try not to use any racial undertones, but obviously when you view this clip, you already know what's going on. First off, before I continue, shout out to my man Free Zone Lou. Let me play his clip as well.
Are you aware of the proper method that one should use to eliminate weeds? You see, weeds, when left unchecked, will rob the flower of its proper nutrients. So what do? If you uproot the weed, then you disturb the flower. Its roots and soil don't like to be interfered with.
So, what do you do?
You learn to plant flowers that utilize the weeds as a form of nourishment. Take a look. This flower is an example of a beautiful exterior masking its true intentions. Intentions that are really quite brutal.
Man, shout out to my guy Free Zone Lou. Good to see you, sir. But yeah. So I'm showing this to my student worker, Tom, and he he's like, Mr. Jones, is this for real? Like, it looks like they're harassing this monkey. And it's like, I'm like, Tom, this is why I tell you, whatever you do, be careful of these women on the streets because you just don't know what they've been around. and I think I think I may have scarred Tom. Ever since then, Tom was kind of like, Mr. Jones, I I gotta have to. Ever since you showed me that video, I kind of been leery when I'm around, you know, those type of women. And I said, Tom, I understand. I understand. I wasn't trying to scare you or anything, but being that you're a grown man, it would not be right of me to not forewarn you of what's going on. Oh boy. So yeah. So that again, I blame SKC. He's the one that showed this clip and everything. And I was like, wow. And in fact, SKC, that song that I requested for you to play, uh song by Tarzan, Strangers Like Me. Reason why is because I was showing this clip to one of my student workers, a young white guy. And I think I may have scared him a bit. Yeah, I think he got scared. Oh boy. By the way, make sure you don't have any children around. This is not a child friendly stream, so please be careful. But anywho, so I got a hold of this clip, and again, shout out to Atrism for sending me this clip. And I was like, there's gotta be some sort of Japanese connection to this. Somehow, some way, there's gotta be a reason why these daggles are twerking on a monkey. And so I went and did a little bit of research, and I researched a bunch of yokais, which is, Japanese monsters and folklore and everything. And I actually found something very interesting that may explain this particular behavior. So let me stop sharing this screen and let me prep. Okay, Mr. Monkey, I'm gonna pause you for a bit. And let me prep you to this particular painting. Let me get this fair use banner down. All right. So let me show you guys exactly what I see and what I found. All right, another drum roll, please. All right. So what you see here is some sort of monkey with a very long appendix, long arms and everything. And you're going to see why. So the name of this yokai is called an Enku. That's Enko. Enku. Some say Enku, some say Enko, but it's still the same thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read you all some information about the Enko and what this particular monkey yokai is all about. Adrian says, is this the special Luffy? Could be. It is a monkey and it does have long stretchable arms. But wait till you hear what this yokai is known for. All right. So this information I got from yokai.com and it talks about the Enko. So, what is his appearance? Enko are river dwelling yokai found throughout the Shikoku and Chugoku regions. They resemble monkeys or hairy kappas. They're about the size of a 3-year-old child with bright red faces, or in this case here, green faces. Their long limbs are flexible and elastic, And if you pull on one of their arms, it will stretch while the other arm shrinks. Their fingers are tipped with sharp claws. They're covered in thick hair or thick fur, but are slimy and slippery like catfish. They have a dish like depression on the top of their heads. Their behavior. Incos are related to kappas and share many traits with other members of the kappa family. They are quite strong. They live in rivers and along the seashore and are excellent swimmers. They often appear at night in popular fishing spots. They're also skilled at transforming and can disguise themselves as human women, dolls, and other forms. Incos have a strong revulsion towards metal objects and thus will run from farming utensils and farming tools. They dislike cows and horses and frequently attack them if they enter rivers. In Shikoku, it is said that Incos only live in the rivers during the summer months. In the winter, they migrate en masse into the mountains and transform into Shibaban. Then in the summer, all of the Shibaban return to the rivers and transform back into Incos. In Chugoku, there is a species of kappa called Takiwaru. Takiwaru, who live for 3 years in the mountains, then migrate to the rivers and transform into Incos for the next 3 years. True. Okay, true. Let's not ruin it for everybody. Let's not ruin it for everybody, but just listen in. Just listen in. However, or excuse me. So here's the interactions of these Incos. Incos are sometimes encountered by fishermen at night. They disguise themselves as kimono clad wooden dolls and approach the fishermen. If poked, the dolls grin cheerfully and giggle. However, Incos are not always cute. They sometimes attack and even kill humans. And for women, the R word, but I'll let you figure that out. They are best known for brutally assaulting swimmers in order to obtain one of their favorite snacks, the fresh liver from a still living human. They obtain this by ramming one of their long, flexible arms up through their victim's anus and pulling out fistfuls in her side. For those who didn't catch that, let me read that once again. They are best known for brutally assaulting human swimmers in order to obtain one of their favorite snacks, the fresh liver from a still living human. They obtain this by ramming one of their long, flexible arms up through their victim's anus and pulling out fistful of innards. You know what? Where's my burn bear? I gotta play this. There we go. There we go. For those who need a shock. In fact, let's do that one more time. All right. All right. So you probably say to yourself, okay, Osamu-san. So this monkey is known for digging humans and then pulling their innards out. So what does this have to do with the earlier clip of a monkey getting twerked on by Daggles? Okay, I'm glad you asked. So let me ask you guys in the chat, and be truthful. Be truthful. How many of you gentlemen and ladies have heard some of these Daggles say, and I'm paraphrasing, how many of you heard them say, they need to get their poontang scratched. Be honest. Put a one if you heard it. How many of you guys and ladies have heard somebody daggles say they need to get their poontang scratched? Give y'all a little bit of time to answer in the chat. All right, altruism. He's heard it before. And come on, I know there's more than altruism in the chat, so go ahead and be truthful. If you heard these daggles say they need to get their poontangs scratched, because I've heard it. I've heard it. In fact, some particular rapper by the name of Sukiana was, I think she was in London, somewhere in Europe, and she was caught on video saying that she needs to get her poontang scratched. So I'm just curious in regards of how many of you guys have heard that as well. So let's see. Come on, I know you guys have heard it on the YouTube streets. Y'all heard some of these questionable females say they need to get their poon scratched. No. Okay, so while we're waiting on that, here's my theory. It's a crazy theory, but you know what? This world can have some craziness to it. So here's my crazy theory. I believe that some of these daggles have gotten possessed or got influence to find this particular monkey to scratch their poontang. I wouldn't be surprised if these daggles were like out near some Japanese restaurant or someplace, Japanese market and everything, even an Asian market. And some Japanese guy overheard these particular daggles saying, I need to get my poontang scratched and everything. And Japanese guy probably put two and two together and was like, hey, you said you need your poontang scratch? That's true. I know of a yokai that could scratch that for you. They call him the Inko. If you able to catch this Inko, he will scratch your poontang, no problem. So, I think this particular clip, and I'm gonna put it back up so y'all can see it for yourself. But I believe this particular clip is of daggles seeing if they can invoke the spirit of the Inko in this monkey to potentially have this monkey scratch their poontang. I know it sounds crazy and it sounds, out of reach, but hey, you know, there's got to be an explanation of why these particular women are in a club twerking on a monkey. There's gotta be an explanation, and I think my explanation is probably a lot more closer to reality than anything else. Because again, you have an element of a particular yokai that is known for using his extremely long arms to reach into the innards of reach into the innards of people and pulling their guts out. Well, I mean, okay, let me calm down. Let me calm down. I know. I know. Oh, man. Believe me, when I first saw this, I didn't know what to say. And again, when I showed this to my student worker, even he was like, what is this? This is animal abuse. Why are they doing this to this monkey? And only thing I can say is, welcome to the community. Now you understand why, you know, some of us have no problem just trying to be anything but black. Oh my goodness. But there you go. So next time you see this clip, just think in mind, these daggles are simply trying to invoke the spirit of the Inko. And if they can invoke the spirit of the Inko through this monkey, then they have a means of getting their poontang scratched. I know that's bestiality, but hey, yeah. Well, what else can I say? What else can I say? Okay, all right. That's enough monkeying around for now. Ooh, boy. You know what? Let me get some of my tea. Calm down a bit. Okay. Now, moving right along. So, again, while I was working, I'm also was one day just looking through Instagram and everything, and I stumble upon a picture that it was interesting, very interesting to say the least. Um, for the most part, at first I thought it was a fake, but after doing some research, come to find out, no, this is not a fake. The content of this picture is real, and indeed it did happen. And well, let me just show you guys. So let me do this, get this set up, and let's get the kabuki sound going. All right. So this was something that came across my Instagram on last week. And the picture itself is not so much unique, but it's the content behind the picture that makes it pretty interesting to read. So, for those who can't see it, I'll read it for you. So, this picture, well, first off, in the picture, it says, "No white people allowed in the zoo today" by the Memphis Park Commission. So, that's what the poster says. And here's what the caption says about this picture. In the 1950s, the Memphis Zoo would not allow white people to enter the zoo on certain days and only allowed African Americans to enter the zoo. They called this Negro Day. So at first I'm like, oh no. A part of me was like, this has to be like altered or doctored and all. There's no way that this is an actual event where a Memphis Zoo, which is down south during this time period of the civil rights movement, has special days where only black people are allowed to enter the zoo. I was like, let me see if this is real or if this is something that's potentially fake. So I did a little research, and lo and behold, it is true. And let me now pull up the article for you so you can see the evidence for yourself. Let's see. Where do I have this? I believe I have it here. Here we go. All right, so let's pull this up. All right, this is from the Vintage News Daily. And this was actually posted back in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. It says, no white people allowed in zoo today. It goes on to say, these black and white photographs taken by Ernest Withers, a real-life photographer, depict the entrance to a Memphis zoo. At front and center is a sign reading, no white people allowed in zoos today. Behind it, several African Americans can be seen in the zoo. The nascent civil rights movement that photographer Ernest Withers witnessed in Montgomery and Little Rock was developing in Memphis. African Americans were only allowed to visit the Memphis Public Zoo one day a week. Actually, black domestics were allowed in the Overton Park Zoo 6 days a week as long as they are chaperoning white children. Thursdays, called Maid's Day Off, was just for blacks. And what do you know? Well. It says in 1959, Ozzie Evers and the Black Binghamton Civil League filed a lawsuit in the federal court to open the zoo, the city's Brooks Memorial Art Gallery, and the Memphis Museum every day of the week. The city claimed the incident of violence, vandalism, and disorders among visitors to the parks of the city of Memphis is greatly increased in those parks frequented by Negro citizens. More police would be needed, and the cost would be prohibitive. Despite the tepid answer, the federal lawsuit moved slowly. But in late 1960, the Park Commission decided to desegregate the zoo, the Art Museum, and the Memphis Museum. So there you have it. So I just find it interesting, when they talk about the civil rights movement back in the day and all, they show pictures where white people are allowed in certain places and certain areas, but black folks aren't. But lo and behold, here's a picture that shows that, hey, there were certain days at the Memphis Zoo where if you was white, you couldn't go into the zoo. It was reserved all for blacks only. And makes you wonder if things back in the days of Jim Crow was not as harsh as they make it sound to be. Adrian. Oh, Adrian. You wrong for that. You wrong for that. good to be back. Good to be back. You guys make this all the more amazing. But yeah, yeah. So next time, if you hear somebody talking about, Jim Crow and the civil rights movement and how blacks were allowed to go certain places that white people go and everything, all you gotta do is just show them this picture like, hey, down at the Memphis Zoo, they had a whole day dedicated to black people. And white people weren't even allowed to step foot. So, what do you got for that? Okay, all right. Let's move on. Let's move on. And if anybody wants the link to that particular article, here you go. Help yourself. Help yourself. So you can use it as evidence for whatever whatever conversations y'all have. Okay. Now, let's move a little bit along. So, the next thing I want to show. First off, I want to give a shout out to this great Japanese comedian by the name of Ken Shimura. Unfortunately, Ken Shimura, he passed away back in 2020 during the pandemic. They speculated that he caught COVID and whatnot. He wasn't vaccinated, but they speculated he did caught COVID and everything. And he was, I think he was in his late 60s, early 70s. So he wasn't that old, but yeah, great comedian. You can see a lot of his skits that he does here on YouTube and all. But I happened to found a clip that he did not too long, no, well, not before he passed and everything. He did a clip and it was one of his comedy clips and everything. And I want to show you guys because when he did this clip, I really had to wonder if he got the idea of this clip from the community. And you'll see why. You'll see why. So let me go ahead and share the screen. And let's make it a little bit smaller like this. And let me also do this too, because just want to make sure fair use is being utilized all across the board. Okay. Hopefully you guys should be able to see this, but fair use. But here we go.
れな、寝てんのか
Hold on a second. His caption is on. Turn that off. There we go. All right, now let's play. Actually, let's go back to the beginning. Here we go.
れな、寝てんのか
おかえりなさい。
ただいま。
今何時？
今、夜中の2時ぐらいかな。
2時？どう言ってたの？
え？
何してたのって言ってんのよ。
友達とちょっと居酒屋。
居酒屋。
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 はい。
居酒屋だけ？
はい。
嘘ついてるでしょ。嘘ついてるでしょ。
いや、
踏み殺すわよ。
クラブ行きました。 クラブをちょっと来ました。
そうでしょ。
はい、はい。
クラブでしょ。
はいすいません
絶対そうでしょ。
すいません。ほんの少しでした。短い時間。
出たのよ。最近帰り遅くてあんた。浮気してるでしょ。
いや、浮気なんかしてません。とんでもない。絶対してませんよ。
クラブのお姉ちゃんと。
してません。してません。してません。
してます。
してません。
してます。
してません。
してます。
してません。してません。してません。本当に。
私のことじゃ好き？
え？
私のこと好き？
それはもちろん好きだよ。決まってんだろ、そんなの。
かわいい？
かわいい。
どこがかわいい？
どこ？
何がかわいい？早く！
料理がうまい。
料理
料理がうまい。
料理
料理がうまい。
料理がう
あと頭の回転が速い。頭いい。
まい。頭いい。
頭いい。
それ可愛いと関係ないじゃないのよ。そういうこと言ってるんじゃないわよ、私は。ルックスです。ルックスです。
潤んだ目が可愛い。
あと
強いて言えば、
い
いやいや、あとぽっちゃりした唇が可愛い。
これか。
はい。それです。
可愛いか。
可愛いです。
好き？
はい？
私のこと好き？
好きです。好
心を込めて言いなさいよ。
きです。
こっち見て言いなさい、ほら。
好きです。
Okay, so who do y'all think he got this idea from? I already saw some of y'all posted in the chat. Adrian said Big Mama, and Truth only says Sumo Keisha. Oh my goodness. The the whole skit itself was uh, look, I'm telling you right now. Oh my god. I'm telling you right now. If you are a big boned female, I didn't give a race. I just simply said a big boned female. You probably don't want to try to find love in Japan. I'm telling you right now. See, okay. Let me explain a little bit of this dynamic. And I know hopefully in the future, because my bro, Shinobi bro, he haven't too long came from a trip in Japan. And we're going to do a Black Ronins podcast, pretty much just talking about his trip and he what all he's seen and what all he ventured over there. But it's one thing I can tell you for sure from my own personal experience when I was last in Japan. There is a huge difference between a big boned man getting love in Japan and a big boned woman finding love in Japan. there is a huge discrepancy. See, I'll put it like this: a big guy, as long as you're decent and you take care of your hygienes and whatnot, and you able to wear decent clothes, clothes that at least fits you, not too loose, but at least, looks fit enough that you look presentable. Is I can't tell you how many times, in Japan, I've seen big guys with petite women. It is a thing in Japan. I don't care what they try to tell you. I don't care who the game dudes want to tell you about petite women don't like big men or big guys and everything. Maybe in the US, but outside the US, completely different world. And especially if you're a guy who you got something going for you and you about business and everything, yeah, not that hard for you to catch you somebody. But while that's true for big guys, that is not true for big women. And I can tell you right now, this skit that I just showed you highlights why it is a stereotype. And you could say even a comical relief of small men being with big women. It's a rarity in Japan. And again, for those who haven't seen the clip, I'll play it for you one more time. And you guys point out the tropes that you see from this clip in the chat. I'll let you see it for yourself.
暗いな。寝てんのか
Okay, so what do you see? What do you see? You already see, you know. Oh, let's continue. Let's continue. And J Lock, yeah, I seen the clip, and I'm gonna be honest with you, not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. First off, she's waiting in the dark. So she's waiting in the dark for this dude to come home. Who knows how late at night it is, but she's waiting in the dark for this dude to come home. And she's standing in the dark. And let me just say this. You already know the size comparison, she could easily break his back. That's and these daggles wonder why our Asian brothers don't want to show him much love. Just look at this size comparison. These are two Japanese people. And just look at the size comparison. So she's questioning him why he's out past 2 a.m.
どう言ってたの？
え？
何してたのって言ってんのよ。
友達とちょっと居酒屋。
居酒屋。
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 はい。
居酒屋だけ？
はい。
So this man is so scared. I know it's just a skit, but this man is so scared. He's like, I just went drinking out with my friends. Oh, let's continue.
嘘ついてるでしょ。
So she's saying he's lying.
嘘ついてるでしょ。
いや、
踏み殺すわよ。
She says, I will beat the crap out of you. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, let me ask y'all this in the chat. Y'all already know who have a propensity to be this type of violent. You don't think Japanese men and other Asian men know about the violence of a particular group of women? But let's continue.
クラブ行きました。クラブもちょっと行きました。
そうでしょ。
はいはい。
クラブでしょ。
はいすいません
絶対そうでしょ。
すいません。ほんの少しでした。短い時間。
So now he's saying, yes, he went to a club to go drinking with some of his buddies.
出たのよ。最近帰り遅くてあんた。浮気してるでしょ。
いや、浮気なんかしてません。とんでもない。
Now she's questioning, has this dude been faithful? Has he been cheating?
絶対してませんよ。
クラブのお姉ちゃんと。
してません。してません。してません。
してます。
してます。
Okay. My bad, just saw it went out a bit. But yeah.
してません。本当に。
Okay. I think we got the trope of what happened. Oh boy, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. All right. So let's kind of wrap things up a bit. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard about the incident that happened in Dubai. And hold on a second, all of a sudden my things are acting a bit slow. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you guys and ladies have heard about what happened in Dubai. A fellow Daggle, for some reason, has been caught up in trouble in Dubai to the point to where she is under arrest and pending litigation. She could be doing some prison time in Dubai. Now, what was she accused of? Supposedly doing some crazy things or supposedly yelling. J-Log, did you do a reaction review on Johnny the Somalian acted up in Japan? No, I've heard of him, and to be honest, J-Log, I don't really care because here's my philosophy. The guys who go and act up in Japan, I have no empathy for them if they get caught up and have to deal with some of the crazy things like the Yakuza, or the justice system in Japan. So, I mean, I have forewarned brothers time and time again. You go to Japan, act like you're a citizen, act like you've been there, and if you can't get the buffoonery out of your system, just stay home. Don't even go to Japan or go to a country where the rules and regulations are that strict. And that's why I'm bringing up this woman that got arrested in Dubai, because it's the exact same thing that I just talked about. go to another country, you don't know the customs and regulations of how things are done in that country, and yet you feel like whatever you could do in America, you could do the same thing in these other countries. And before you know it, you pretty much getting yourself in trouble. And let me just tell you something. This is something people gotta understand. And I'm gonna give an examples. Don't expect America to bail you out when you get in trouble in these other countries. Okay? You were warned and you were regulated on what things to do and not do in these countries, but you still went ahead and did what you were going to do. So if you think that you can go to another country and get the Brittany Griner treatment from America, you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's see what's happening right now with this particular female over in Dubai. So I have a recent article. This was published on today, and it's some interesting tidbits from this article that I definitely want you guys to hear about. So it says, family of Tierra Allen, the black woman that is currently stranded in Dubai, solicit help from, gasp, Ted Cruz. What in the world? Black people seeking out help from Republicans? Well, let's read on to see what this is about. So it says, the family of Tierra Allen, the black woman stranded in Dubai, has called on Texas lawmakers to help aid in her return back to America. According to reports, Allen has been stuck in her Airbnb in Dubai since May, when she was arrested for raising her voice at a car rental service male employee. The 29-year-old truck driver and social media influencer was held in jail for a week before being released, but her passport confiscated while police investigate allegations of her screaming at a male employee at the car rental company. Allen's dream vacation in Dubai turned into a nightmare when she and a friend got into a small car accident in the vehicle they rented. According to the Newsweek, the damage was allegedly minimal for both vehicles and the rental. But Allen's friend was still detained and held in jail for at least a week. Allen was then invited back to the car rental company to retrieve her belongings that were left in the car, but was told she needed to pay a large sum of money to get her purse and ID back. Allen then told the male staffer that her credit cards were in her purse and couldn't make a payment without them, but the employee allegedly told her to find a way. The incident then escalated into an argument. From the Newsweek, laws in Dubai, a city in the predominantly Muslim United Arab Emirates, may come as a shock to some Western visitors. The U.S. Department of State has warned Americans planning to travel there that, quote, public decency and morality laws throughout the UAE are much stricter than in the United States, unquote. Illegal activities include public displays of affection, homo relationships, dressing immodestly, and screaming, swearing, or arguing in public. Allen's mother, Tina Baxter, told Newsweek that her daughter did yell at the man, but she was scared and afraid at the time. Quote, she was scared, she was afraid, and she was just lost at that point. She was very panicked. When she left, she used whatever money she had to take a bus back to her hotel. She didn't really know where she was. She was in a panic mode and afraid, unquote, Baxter told the publication. Baxter also claims that the male employee initiated the screaming and tried to extort her out of money. She alleges that when Allen returned later, offering to pay the money, the car rental employee doubled the original price. Allen tried to then raise the cash, but when she returned to pay, the employee raised the price again. Now, Alan's mother says her daughter is struggling with all the stress. I've never seen her so stressed, Baxter said, admitting she hadn't been sleeping since her daughter has been stranded in Dubai. She's such a sweet person. She's a very soft spoken, sweet young lady, and a very strong, very positive young lady. She's tried to hide her stress from me, but I was on a video call with her and I could see the pain in her face. The family recently turned to Texas lawmakers to help bring their daughter back. Radha Sterling, the CEO of Detain in Dubai, has contacted Senator Ted Cruz and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee to liaise with the U.S. consulate in the UAE before she, Allen, ends up in a desert prison. Ted Cruz's office responded by saying, quote, "We have spoken to the family of Tierra Allen and have contacted the Department of State about the case. Senator Cruz will continue to gather details and engage on this case until Miss Allen is returned home to her family." Sterling also told Fox 26 that she believes Tierra Allen was extorted. The agency actually said to her they dropped the police case if she paid the money. So it's a form of extortion and blackmail, and it's extremely common with these rental car companies, Sterling says. All right, before I continue, we got some new faces in the chat. I see General Washington. Good to see you, sir. And yeah, I call cap on that too. And my man JJ Wilson. I gotta play your intro, good sir.
I'm not going there to die. I'm going to find out if I'm really alive.
Oh, good sir. Good to see you as well. All right. Now, I I don't feel sorry for her because if you knew that a country like Dubai is known for strict rules and even extortion, even if you still plan to go and visit there, you should know to not put yourself in that predicament. It's just that simple. If you don't put yourself in that predicament, you'll get by through that company just fine. But as soon as you go there thinking you are above the law, and especially if you think because you're a female and you're going to get better treatment than the males, again, you're better off just staying in America. Now, other countries may not be as strict as Dubai, but I can tell you right now, I just did a stream earlier this year where I talked about the prison system in Japan. And let me tell you, if this particular Dago went to Japan and did the exact same thing, I can almost guarantee you she will still end up in the same predicament that she's in right now. Now, they may not try to extort her in Japan, but best to believe that she's not going to walk away freely. And in a place like Dubai, again, essentially, Frizo says, shout out to Japanese prison. I think I'm going to do a part 3 on Japanese prison because I think people need to understand, like, when you go to these other countries, they don't play around if you think you're above the law. They don't care if you are American. You act a fool, you're going to find out. Well, I got to get a clip of that guy. Y'all know who he is, the one that does the little whiteboard talking about you mess around and you find out. Yeah. Jayla, again, I did a stream earlier this year about Japanese prisons. Go and look at that. You'll see. You'll see. But yeah, uh, to me, okay, let's just walk this through. Let's just walk this through and talk about this for a bit. So you get into a car accident in Dubai. The car is, you say, is minimum damage. So we'll probably say, depending on how fast they were going, maybe about $500 worth of damage on a car. Okay, well, we'll say that's minimal. Your friend had to spend at least a week in jail because they were driving the car that got into an accident. Therefore, due to the laws there, you're going to have to do a little bit of time to, you know, pay for the damages. You, on the other hand, Miss Allen, your phone and your wallet was in the car. Okay. Mistake number one. Why would you leave those items in the car? You're in a foreign country and you know that you and your friend just caused a little bit of trouble in a car accident. Why in the world would you leave all of your IDs and belongings in the same car? So that's your second mistake. Your first mistake is just being unruly. But your second mistake, leaving all that stuff in the car. Okay. So you go to the car rental place, and the guy who lives in that country and the rules and regulations are on his side. So guess what? The last thing you want to do is piss off this individual who could literally make your life a living hell. So that's the second rule. Oh, that's the third rule you break. Yeah, SKC, drinking matcha right now. So that's the second rule you break. And then the, oh, excuse me, that's the third rule. The fourth rule is, okay, the guy you claim starts yelling at you. Okay? Well, the last thing you want to do as a woman in a country like Dubai is yell back at him. Again, the rules and regulations are in his favor. If you do not conduct yourself as a lady, believe me, that's all the ammunition they need to lock you up. So even if you claim you didn't yell at him, but he started yelling at you, the mere fact that you returned ammo, that was all they needed. And besides that, okay, so you claim that this guy, whoever he was, kept raising the price of retrieving your belongings. Okay. The smart thing to do, if you're in a foreign country and one of the citizens of that country is trying to extort you, the smart thing to do when you try to be civilized and you try to do things by the book, but they still don't want to work with you, the next smart thing to do, get the U.S. Embassy involved. That would have been the smart thing to do. Go to your nearest U.S. Embassy and tell them, hey, I'm trying to retrieve my passport and belongings, but this particular car rental place keep raising the price of getting my belongings back and everything. And I believe they're trying to extort me from getting my items and all. I need some help to retrieve it. That would have been the smart thing to do. But instead, you have this attitude of, well, I'm somebody, and that y'all gonna hear me, and I'm going to let y'all know who I am because I'm somebody, and y'all gonna hear me roar. Ooh. Okay, you did that, and now look what happened. Now look what happened. This is Brittany Griner 2.0. And the crazy thing about it, you're not even a celebrity. Well, we got the Shinobi Bro Osa.
Samurai-san.
What's going on, Shinobi Bro? Let me go change my background as well. Let's do this real quick. There we go. All right, what's going on, Shinobi Bro?
Oh, just I sit back and I smile, Samurai-san.
Man, you missed some early birds once. So I first off, I needed to apologize for everybody for not streaming for the past 2 months and everything. Pretty much been busy with many projects at work, and then on top of that, dealing with schooling because my department is paying for me to go get my master's degree and all. So dealing with all that, and then on top of that, have a side business that I just started and I'm trying to work and navigate and everything. So all of that, just kind of made me busy the last 2 months and without streaming. So I owe everybody an apology, including yourself, Shinobi Bros. So.
Oh no, like we talked about offline, you got to, get money, stack chips. I know you got big plans in the future, but you're also going to have big obligations.
Oh
So
yeah,
try and get your money up as much as possible. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So
right on, right on. So right after doing that, I started talking about this clip that SKC had
you mean
shown
the clip?
the clip. And for those who want a little refresher, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Those who want a little refresher, we're talking about this here.
Yeah. Osamurai-san, there's a story I need to tell. Now, I haven't shared this with you before because I figure I would wait until we get on the live stream and so I can recount my tale. So, as most listeners may or may not be aware, I touched down from Japan. I've been back for about 2 weeks, give or take. Now, when we were leaving for Japan, there was a lady. There was a lady of a certain background. A lady that might be very similar to what we're looking at right now. SKC in the building. Now this tale I'm going to share with you is related to the monkey, so I'll tie the two together. Okay, so this lady had huge, big old bazoomers, like
Wait, you're telling me she was?
She had bazoomers like the what is it from Coming to America? Like the backside of a watermelon or something. I forget at this point, but she had big bazoomers. I'm not going to take anything away from her. However, unfortunately, she had on no bra and she had on like a half cut shirt. Now, my kids were there and I had to shield their eyes so they would not have to look at such an abomination. But it doesn't end there. This girl had on like bunny ears, clownish makeup, extreme booty shorts, extreme booty shorts. Like the cheeks were hanging out, bro. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. Keep in mind, I have my daughter who is younger than 10 years old with me,
Right.
and my son is there. And that's JJ's exactly right. Yes, this was a alleged cosplayer because she had on the little cotton bunny tail and all that stuff. So we get on the plane, right? We're on All Nippon Airways, which by the way is amazing. Highly recommended. I mean, flying an American airline is like fail. But anyway, so we get on the plane.
Mm.
Like everyone, like you've got families, you've got kids. The Japanese were like, "What on God's green earth is this person doing here?" And of course, the cell phone was in hand, streaming was happening, taking pictures, just like completely oblivious to the situation. Kuki o yomerare nakata. Like she couldn't read the air if her life depended on it.
Mm.
So she's sitting next to this poor Japanese guy. Now, keep in mind, this flight is like 13 hours long from where we are. And this poor guy, I mean, she was basically conducting herself in the manner of of these individuals, but it gets worse. So we touched down
Mm-hmm.
in the land of Japan. We're walking through immigration. This individual is walking through Osaka KIX customs. It was the most ridiculous sight that you have ever seen in your whole life. Like all the you could feel the eyes. You could feel them. You could feel the disdain. Yeah, except you'd have to replace that with that con with G, which is like the stare thing, right? So it was amazing, and the Japanese were so polite. They were so kind to to, to this individual. But I mean, listen, this person was most likely a amateur corn star who was there to make a little coin, most likely, because yeah, reasons. My point is this: kind of a long-winded story, but very vital and very necessary, because my whole thing is this: not my woman, not my problem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're getting off the plane, and the sad part is, Osamurai-san, I had to sit like on the other like diagonal for this whole flight. So we're getting off, and I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to like not look at her, not interact with her, and she's like got the phone everywhere, and like I'm sure she got me on camera for her live stream or whatever. Because I mean, we were the only two people of African descent on the flight.
Mm.
Just me and you. Hey, look, not my woman, not my problem. So I'm gonna tie it all together, because what we're seeing here on the screen is not an anomaly. This is the way it is from Dubai to Bulgaria to Ghana to probably an anonymous, unnamed facility, dance club, whatever, in Hotlanta. This is probably where this is. I mean, this is how it is. This has nothing to do with us. We
No.
have nothing to do with that. We have no dog in this fight. We have no skin in the game. My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. My name is Paul and that's between y'all. I've got nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with me. I disavow all knowledge. I disavow all knowledge. I don't even know who these people are. Who are they?
Shinobi, bro. This day that I was telling this story, early part of the stream, the day that SKC was showing this stream, I was at work, and I had a student working with me, young white guy. He's like 21 years old, and I'm watching this on my phone, and he's like, "Mr. Jones, is everything all right? You got this concerned look on your face." And I'm looking at him and I'm contemplating in my mind, should I show him this clip or should I keep him from witnessing what goes on in the commuter top? So I decided, you know what? He's a grown man. He's 21 years old. He needs to find out. So we're using his name as Tom. It's not his real name, but we're using his name for the stream. I was like, Tom, the only thing I can tell you, sir, is be careful when you're out on the streets with some of these particular women. And he had this confused look on his face, like, what do you mean? So I was like, okay, I'm about to show you something that you probably don't see a lot in your everyday life, but I'm telling you right now, it's real. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can get caught up in it too. So I showed him this clip, and let's just say I think I have him scarred.
like you sent me the text message, and then I I looked at this. I said, "What?" And then the other one, the duck. I'm like, "Is this for real? Is this Howard the Duck getting twerked on, getting
right.
twerked on?"
I don't have access to that clip. That is all SKC. But shout out to Atrism. He had the clip to this monkey, and I was like, sir, can you give me this clip? Because I need to talk about it once I get back to streaming. And he hit me up real good. So
I mean, that has nothing to do with me. Seriously. Because I'm in Japan, and like the Japanese are looking at me, and you can kind of tell the expression. They were cool, they were chill, we were all good, no problems. Then they looked at her. They were like, space invaders. I mean, it was insane. Like, I mean, come on, bro. I mean, like, parents were covering the eyes of their children. So I mean, like, from like everywhere in the world, globally, this is how they're acting.
Yeah. So Shinobi, bro, I was thinking to myself, there's gotta be something spiritual. Like, there should be no random reason why these particular daggles decided they are going to twerk on an iced monkey, because he got a lot of jewelry on. It's not just a regular monkey. This is an iced up monkey, and they're twerking on him. And I'm just like, there's gotta be some explanation to this. So, knowing myself, I went and did a little bit of research.
Okay.
And I think I have a theory. So, since we're on the topic of Japan, I was thinking maybe this is tied to some yokai. Maybe there's a yokai that would have these particular females do what they do. And I came across a particular yokai called Inko. And Inko is like it's like a monkey version of a kappa. And what makes the Inko unique, and for those that's listening in, make sure you are by yourself, no wives or kids, anything around. Make sure you're by yourself before I say. What makes the Inko unique They are known for being very elastic, so they can outstretch their arms and limbs and everything. And with their elastic arms, they can reach inside the anus of a human and grab their innards.
What?
Oh yeah. So here's my theory. Here's my theory. My theory is I think these particular daggos heard about this particular yokai, and somehow in their wild imagination, they thought, hey, let us get a random monkey and try to invoke the spirit of the Inko. And if we can invoke the spirit of the Inko, we could get this spiritual monkey to, and I don't quote me on this, but I've heard this said by some daggos recently. We could get him to scratch our poontang.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I've heard some of these daggos say, I need my poontang scratched and everything. Like, what?
I mean, let me keep it on the light side for a second. Let me take it to the light side for a second. Japan. So I know that in the chat they were talking about, and I apologize for being late. I was eating and cleaning and
Oh
stuff. I
no,
gotta
yeah, no worries at
clean.
all.
I had to clean house and stuff because young Hinata will be arriving back from Japan at some point this week. But anyway, so I know in the chat they were talking about the streamer dude who was causing all that ruckus
Mm.
in the J. And I'm here to report that the Japanese people were amazing. They were kind. They were courteous. They were considerate. The ladies were, and I wonder, because like this time around,
Mm.
every experience is different, but I felt like this time around, they were much more deferential to me.
Mm.
And I wonder if it's because, I don't look old, but, I look more mature, I guess. And, I got a little gray coming in and stuff like that. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. And then the other thing is my command of the language is much better.
Mm.
So like, I just walk up and talk to people. Or you go in the store and they're like, "That's how you must say," and I'm like, "Arigato," so basically I'm like talking more and more like a native speaker. So maybe because of that, but when I would talk to the ladies, they would bow and they would, kind of avert their eyes a bit. But the interesting thing was some of them were quite curious. They wanted to know, like, I had one of the flight attendants on the airline, and let me tell you this. So Japanese airlines, they have model quality flight attendants. We're talking superstar material, right?
Mm.
So one of them was talking to, I mean, she just started talking like I'm chilling, like I'm just, looking out the window, whatever. She just comes up to me and she just starts talking to me, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "Daijoubu, daijoubu, arigato." And she, she's like, "Where do you live in Japan?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, I said, "Well, my family lives there." "Oh, okay. Where they live?" And, I gave them the location. But I mean, it's just that her curiosity was very intense, and I just felt like everywhere that I went, there was no hostility. Nobody was like, "Oh, it's that guy from the internet." You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a little concerned, but I mean, once again, the Japanese people are gracious. So, like 5 minutes in country, especially the way they were dealing with our cosplay friend, I was cool. And there were foreigners there, like foreigners just out and about, sightseeing, and they were, everyone's pretty much behaved. So I mean, you hear about this stuff online, but I mean, if you're on the ground and, like we always talk about, you speak the language, you dress nice, you have proper manners, no one's going to bother you. In fact, I had all kind of people falling over themselves to help me, to talk to me, to stuff like that. So, I mean, it was a very pleasant experience.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I was telling them we're definitely going to get back to doing the Black Rona stream and everything, and we can go more in details of the trip. But just that little that little insight right there is just like, man, I can't wait to get back.
You're gonna hey, it's one of those things, especially, I know your language skills are getting better and better by the day. So
Hmm.
it's like, when you touch down, it's it's gonna be over. There's not gonna be any beef, no issues. And I think that, I mean, going back to the Dubai story, I know there are a lot of brothers who, want to go to Dubai for various reasons, and that's all fine and good. But for me personally, I would never go there.
Yeah.
That's just not my jam. Not dissing the country or anything or the people. I'm just saying, that's not the culture that I'm down with. I am more than happy and content to go to Japan and chill. South Korea, of course, definitely on the agenda. Taiwan. I mean, I just feel more comfortable in East Asia. So if I'm
Hmm.
going to be outside the U.S., I'm chilling in Asia, East Asia. So I mean, that's just me. So I think it's important, of course, like we always preach, whatever culture you happen to be in, or whatever culture you happen to be interested in, just make sure it's a good fit. Like, you'll never catch me in Brazil. I'm not a Brazil kind of guy. You'll never catch me in the Dominican Republic. I have zero interest in going. Well, I shouldn't say zero. I would like to go to Gabon because I've had some
Hmm.
ancestral ties there. Where else? Maybe Ethiopia someday. But other than that, I'm cool on Africa. Like I'm not really that interested in Africa. UK. I mean, I've been there a couple times. It's cool. It's like my third other mother country. But like Eastern Europe, I don't really have any huge desire to go there. So I mean,
Okay.
people got to fit in where they get in. Unfortunately, as the passport sisters try to imitate what the passport bros are doing, they're going to find themselves in a world of hurt because they're not taking the time to figure out, hey, maybe this is a culture that I really shouldn't be messing with like that. They'd probably be better off and happy in a country like Denmark or something where it's all about the effinism anyway. So just kind of get in where you fit in is what I'm saying.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, unfortunately, like, especially like with the Dubai situation going on, you would think, excuse me, you would think that people would kind of learn from her particular situation, especially those from the community, and would try to keep a low level when traveling to these other countries. But unfortunately, she's not the only one in the news. This next story, the final story I have, involves a brother, and he found himself caught up on the wrong side of Korea. And I don't
Oh,
mean South Korea.
I mean
Yes,
the North.
yes sir.
Oh,
And this one recently happened this week. And surprisingly, I didn't even see any passport bros talking about this. I was like, think this is something that I need to bring up so that way, for those who do want to travel over to the land of the East, like Korea, China, Japan, Taiwan, you still need to know what you need to do while you're over there. Otherwise, you'll end up like this poor soul in this story. Shout out to Dr. Phoenix. Good to see you, sir. Yes, glad to
Salute,
be back.
salute.
All right, so let's catch up this story real quick. So this is on CNN, and it says U.S. soldier who crossed into North Korea has a history of assault and detention. Okay, well, let's check it out. It says new details have emerged about a U.S. soldier who crossed into North Korea on Tuesday, but his exact whereabouts remain a mystery since the secretive country hasn't said a word about the incident. Court documents showed that Private Travis King, believed to be the first U.S. soldier to cross into North Korea since 1982, had a history of assault, was facing disciplinary action over his conduct, and was meant to go back to America the day before the incident. An Army official told CNN the private was said to be administratively separated from the U.S. Army. Details about how exactly King ended up on the North Korean side of the border remains unclear. King had been on a tour of a border area as a civilian when he crossed the demarcation line. His motive is also a mystery. King's mother, Claudine Gates, told ABC she was shocked after being told by the U.S. Army that her son had crossed into North Korea. She says, quote, I can't see Travis doing anything like that, adding that she heard from her son several days ago and he told her that he'd be returning to his base in Fort Bliss. And this is the picture of Mr. King. It says the U.S. has been actively reaching out to North Korea to resolve the situation, but it has not yet heard back, a defense official said Wednesday. It is typical of North Korea not to respond to U.S. outreach, the defense official added. Admiral John Aquilino, who is in charge of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, said Tuesday that the U.S. had no contact at this point with North Korea in regards to King. Speaking at the Aspen Security Forum on Tuesday, Aquilino said King made a run across the dematerialized zone in the Joint Security Area, was picked up by the North Koreans, and we've had no contact at this point. Aquilino added that he has gotten no reports that King was a North Korean sympathizer. The U.S. Army has identified King as a cavalry scout who joined the military in January of 2021. U.S. officials did not say how long King had been in South Korea, but at some point he faced disciplinary action for assault and spent about 50 days in a detention facility. King was held in a designated detention facility under the Status of Forces Agreement with South Korea, the official said, which is an agreement that defines how U.S. service members, their family members, and other Defense Department personnel are treated and processed in a foreign country, including its justice system. A U.S. official told CNN that King was released from detention on July the 10th and was set to fly back to America this past Monday. Another official told CNN King was escorted to the airport by military officials, but the escorts were unable to accompany him to the gate, and he ultimately did not board his flight. So, history of assault. King appears to have a history of violent behavior. South Korean court documents showed that he was accused of assault twice last year and received a fine for one of the incidents. Last October, he was accused of pushing and repeatedly punching a victim in the face in a club at Mapogu, Seoul, after being refused a drink he asked for, according to the Seoul Western District Court documents.
Now, I'm guessing here that was probably a lady that he assaulted, but we don't know. Speculation.
Oh, yeah. Just speculations on our part here. Following the alleged assault, King was taken into police custody and placed in the back seat of a patrol car when he allegedly used offensive language against Korea, the Korean army, and the Korean police while in anger, the court documents said. And the picture you see here, this is the actual dematerialized zone. So on the far background is North Korea, and these blue buildings you see here is the dematerialized zone, and these soldiers are on the South Korean side. Continue on. He then allegedly kicked the door of the patrol car several times, causing 583,000 Korean won, which is equivalent to $461 of damage, according to the court document. King was fined 5 million Korean won, which is around 4,000 US dollars, as a result, the document stated. If the defendant does not pay the above fine, the defendant shall be detained in a labor facility for a period of time, converted to 100,000 Korean won per day, the document said. It is unclear at this point if King paid the fine or served time at a labor facility. The court document also referenced an earlier assault case against King from September of 2022, which was dropped after the alleged victim expressed his intention not to press charges against King. South Korean police told CNN that King was transferred to U.S. military police after an investigation into an assault last September. It is unclear whether the incident they were referring to was the same case that was dismissed by the court. It is unclear whether the time he spent in detention was related to any of these incidents. So there you have it.
Mm. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because
Right.
because Rodman, of course, Kim Jong Un was a big fan of his. You know, he's into ballers and shot callers. Now, I'm going to say some things that I am not trying to be offensive to the Korean people. This is just my experience. My experience. So, in my experience, my Korean friends were very much into NBA. They were into music. They were into hip hop. I think one of the reasons why K-pop has eclipsed J-pop is that the Koreans, they like singing and dancing. They have like several different music channels. I think it's like MBS. There's others, but they have like multiple music channels and multiple video channels. This is going to sound horrible to say, but I always think of Korean people as very similar to Black American people in a lot of ways, good and bad. You know, very different culture than, say, Japan. I'm surprised that this guy didn't get his face smashed in earlier because Korean dudes don't play when it comes to stuff like that. But, you know,
Right.
maybe they felt like, okay, he's a soldier. I don't know. But all that being said, I'm not sure that Kim Jong-un is going to welcome this dude with open arms. I mean, he's not a baller. He's not a movie star. He's not someone that's cool and glamorous, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, I'm worried that he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble, especially if he tries to, you know, go Pookie mode on a North Korean young lady or something. I mean, those girls, you know, they'll be liable to cut something off first,
Right.
you know. So I don't know. I hope he gets home safely, but I don't know. It's not looking good.
Yeah, when I heard this story, again, I was just surprised that I didn't hear any of the passport bros talking about this or this incident. I know right now the biggest story is the Dubai lady and everything, and for good reason. You know, you got daggles that think that they can just go to these other countries and be themselves and be loud and reckless. It's like, no, it's a whole different world outside of America. But then this incident happened, and I'm just like, first off, of all countries to escape to, why North Korea? Like, again, like you said, Shinobi Bro, maybe he thought like, hey, they were cool with what's his name?
Rodman.
Yeah, Rodman and everything, Dennis Rodman. So he's probably thinking, well, hey, if they're cool with him, they'll be cool with me. But it's like, no. Dennis Rodman is a well-known celebrity. Like, if you mention Dennis Rodman, I would think 90% of people across the world would know, oh, that's the guy who played basketball. Whereas this dude, you're just a military guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and not only that, if this report is true, you're a military guy that got some anger issues.
Yeah, that's that's the issue because like in Japan, for example, Japan's a pretty libertarian country.
Right.
You can kind of do what you want to do so long as you're not hurting other people. But if you're violent, that's a whole different matter. That's a whole different issue. Um, Korean people the Korean people I know, again, my experience only,
Mm.
they took a pretty dim view on that kind of stuff. The guys that I knew were more than likely to demonstrate their taekwondo ability
Right? Yeah.
if you got out of pocket like that. So yeah, I'm concerned because the first time he wants to backhand North Korean guard or something, it's probably going to be a done deal.
Right. And it just like they said he was using offensive language. And it's like, dude, in these other countries, offensive language is grounds of death. that's, ugh, that's, I don't know. This just served as another prime example that we've said it here before and we'll say it again. If you cannot live by the rules and regulations of these other countries when you are there, you're better off just staying home. And this doesn't go to a particular race of people and all. This goes for all Americans
Mm-hmm.
because sad to say, there's a pretty good handful of Americans who feel like they go to these other countries and they could do no wrong.
Right.
And unfortunately, they go there and they ended up getting. I mean, first off, this is not the first time somebody was detained in North Korea. If people remember, there was a white guy who was a tourist in South Korea, or actually in North Korea, and the guy got caught stealing a poster. Of all things, stealing a poster in North Korea. And when he came back to America, he was in a vegetable state.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm kind of concerned for this guy because it's like, dude, you probably want to have good control over your emotions because if the white guy who was last over there and caused, national incident, and he came back as a vegetable, there's no guarantee that you're not going to experience the same thing. So, yeah.
I think that him being of African descent, I think that helps him. I
Mm.
mean, it sounds bad, but just again, based on my experience, I think that the traditional view was, oh, this guy is a member of an oppressed minority. He's supremacy, white supremacy. He's a victim. We have to, that used to be the attitude in a lot of instances.
Right.
I think that's changed though because a lot of individuals of African background have gone over to these countries and just showed their behind literally.
Mm.
like our cosplayer friend. And so I think that added, which is a sad thing, that attitude is starting to diminish a bit. But so I mean, I think there could be an element of using him for propaganda
Mm.
purposes. Or maybe he gets on I don't know if you ever seen like North Korean TV. Like, I'm not gonna do this because it's not very nice, but like the way they speak Korean, it's like, and the Americans and they are the evil and like they're like really loud and all that. So I can
Mm.
just kind of see him on there, like they give him a script to read, and he like condemns American imperialism, capitalist pigs and all this stuff. I mean, that could be an element of that. maybe they go that route, because I mean North Korean propaganda is pretty entertaining actually.
That is true.
I remember watching one little cartoon. It was like Eddie Eagle and the Little Flames. I guess this evil eagle was trying to kill these like innocent flames or something. It was some weird stuff that, but yeah. So anyway, maybe they use him as a propaganda piece, but I'm afraid when he starts lashing out and trying to whoop on people, that might be the end of him.
Right.
We'll see.
We'll see. But we'll end the stream on a lighter note. So before you came, I was talking about Ken Shimura, the comedian that unfortunately he passed away during the pandemic. He has a lot of great comedy that's on YouTube that go watch and everything. But before he died, he actually did this one particular skit, excuse me, that I get the impression that he gotten his idea of this script from the community, because it has community written all over. So what I'm going to do, we'll save it like this, and then let me pull up the fair banners and everything, play this again. But you'll see why, Shinobi Bro. Definitely check this out. So here we go.
暗いな。開いてんのか。
おかえりなさい。
ただいま。
今何時？
今夜中の2時ぐらいかな。
2時？どう言ってたの？
え？
何してたのって言ってんのよ。
友達とちょっと居酒屋。
はい。居酒屋だけ？
はい。
嘘ついてるでしょ？
いや、
踏み殺すわよ。
クラブ行きました。クラブもちょっと行きました。
そうでしょ。
はいはい。
クラブでしょ。
はいすみません。
絶対そうでしょ。
すいません。ほんの少しでした。短い時間。
出たのよ。最近帰り遅くてあんた。浮気してるでしょ。
いや、浮気なんかしてません。とんでもない。絶対してませんよ。
クラブのお姉ちゃんと。
してません。してません。してません。
してます。
してません。
してます。
してません。
してます。
してません。してません。してません。本当に。
私のことじゃ好き？
え？
私のこと好き？
それはもちろん好きだよ。決まってんだろ、そんなの。
かわいい？
かわいい。
どこがかわいい？
どこ？
何がかわいい？早く！
料理がうまい。
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 料理が。
はい、頭いい。
それ可愛いと関係ないじゃないのよ。そういうこと言ってるんじゃないわよ、私は。ルックスです。
This man is struggling.
潤んだ目が可愛い。
あと
強いて言えば いやいや、あとぽっちゃりした唇が可愛い。
デブって。
これか。
はい。それです。
可愛いか。
可愛いです。好
き？
はい？
私のこと好き。
好きです。
心を込めて言いなさいよ。
好きです。
こっち見て言いなさい、ほら。
好きです。
よく言って。
もう。危ない危ない。
Okay.
何それ
Yeah, so that clip, I was sharing the audience like, and I'm glad you shared that story with the cosplayer and everything
cosplay,
because believe me, there is a world of a difference in Japan between big guys and big ladies. And I was sharing with the audience before you came on, Shinobi Bro, that as a big guy, as long as you are a decent human being, you dress nice, take care of your personal hygienes and everything, and you don't go looking for trouble or whatnot. I have seen big guys with petite Japanese ladies uh, in Japan versus big ladies with petite Japanese men. That is a rarity.
So one of the interesting things is, so the whole family went to Japan, see family and stuff like that. So my son is taller than his grandfather and his uncle.
Mm.
So I mean, he's going to be tall. Like I'm right around 6 foot, and he'll be taller than me. What's the term for it? They call it hybrid vigor, maybe. We'll see. But he's going to be tall, right? So I mean, I think, and they were very surprised to see that, right? And they were like, "Oh, Takai desu ne," very tall. So how much do I want to say on the stream here? But I think there's something to be said about men of varying heights. It could be, maybe the US average. It could be taller. They tend to do fine. There's not going to be any issues while you're in Japan. But in the community, it is the exact opposite. Like Shisho Mad Bus Driver had talked about the other day in his video. I mean, I truly believe that the supply of beauty in the community is rapidly diminishing with each generation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's just not a whole lot of beauty left in that environment. So, the only logical thing for a brother to do is to expand his options. I mean, you could be 5'5", 5'6", but in Japan, there are ladies that are, 4'11", 5'0". You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah, indeed. And that's the thing that I was getting at, because I was looking at this skit that Ken Shimura did, and to me, it was very obvious. He got this idea from probably watching a few black comedian skits and incorporating it into, his type of comedy and all. Because it was just like, yeah, it would be very, very rare to see a small Japanese man with a big Japanese woman. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I didn't, of course, some of the older ladies, they may have put on a few pounds, but they're still not bigger most of the time than their dudes. Like, I didn't really see that at all.
Right. Right. And then, the opposite is true because, in Japan, you got the whole sumo industry and all. And these sumo guys have no problem getting, a petite Japanese woman. So it kind of shows you just how different the dynamics are, not just in Japan, but just in other countries in general, because, we've kind of heard stories in the YouTube streets of you're lame and whatnot because you don't look a certain type for these ladies and everything. And it's just like, sure, I may not be your type, but if I go outside the community, I am almost guaranteed to be someone else's type.
Right, because I mean, as we saw tonight, the type that is preferred by the community is rapidly devolving into beastie. Well, I won't say it. It's probably not safe for the stream. We'll say it's rapidly devolving. We'll just say that, and we'll leave it there.
Honestly, I'm just kind of like, there's a difference between Aku and Master Uguay and his.
There's a huge difference, but not only that, I mean, you've got exquisite examples of beauty in South Korea,
Mhm.
um, China, like especially like Shanghaiese ladies. Oh, yeah. Anyway, Taiwanese, you've got all types. You've got Russians and Ukrainians living in Japan. You've got different types of individuals who are multi-ethnic running around. I mean, quite honestly, they're all there. All
Mhm.
types are there. Whatever you're looking for. So
Right on, right on. Well, Shinobi, bro, we are towards the latter end of the stream. Definitely, thanks for coming on and everything. But your final thoughts, good sir, of what we talked about.
well, it's a big world out there. Um, if you don't know how to act, then you're going to take yourself out of it relatively quickly, or you're going to put yourself in danger of being taken out of this world. We'll put it to you that way. Or you may end up inside somebody's prison cell forever and ever. So, good manners, Western manners, Japanese manners, good manners will take you a long way. It's not just a respect issue, it's also a perfect defense. you know, Rarely are countries going to antagonize you, bother you, or harass you for being a good guy. So, know the language, know the culture, know the rules, know what to do, and know what not to do while you're there. I also learned that, you know, we're on our own, like, what I'm saying? Like, a certain demographic, it has nothing to do with us. We have
Mhm.
nothing to do with each other. We prefer lovely ladies, individuals from that particular demographic prefer other things. So we don't have any common ground here. That's my takeaways from this conversation, which was a long time in coming, and I appreciate. I know you're a busy man handling business, so I appreciate we could take some time to stream.
Absolutely, Shinobi, bro. And that's the thing too. Like I told the audience that even with my schedule somewhat lightening up a bit, still going to be somewhat busy than normal. But I am planning to at least have two streams going on each month. So our usual Black Ronin podcast, definitely going to be bringing that back. And then the State of Male Entertainment, I'll be bringing that back because there's been a lot going on in the entertainment industry that is some topics definitely want to talk up upon. But I figure at least with those two, we could definitely get back to streaming and talking about our favorite subject, especially Japan and whatnot, because there's still some things that's happened recently in Japan that I haven't touched on yet, and I know you still have more from your recent trip that you want to touch on as well. So for sure, my goal is to definitely, going out through the rest of the year to bring those two streams back and keep talking on it and keep keep the audience knowing what's going on behind the scenes and everything. But yeah,
No. Arigato.
hey, but yeah, as soon as as soon as SKC did his stream last week, I was like, okay, I have to talk about
You
this.
have
And
to you have to
then
talk about it. I
right,
mean,
and then
how the young brother's gonna know if they don't know that Howard the Duck is getting more play than they are?
right. I mean, that's an automatic burn. You got a duck and a monkey getting more submission
Yes.
than you pro black man. Like, how do you
So de
explain that?
Godario. Honto. It's insane. But anyway, like I said before, hey, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. So whatever the certain different graphic wants to do, God bless them. I'm here for it.
Indeed, indeed. Well, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Definitely be on the lookout for the next Black Rollers podcast coming up next month. Until next time, this is the way.
This is the way.